Right, hello lads and lasses and welcome back to Boys Down Under. And look, normally I start these videos off and I tell you guys what I'm going to talk about in the video. I tell you guys to subscribe to the channel, but there's no need for any of that today. Today I'm going to start with a bit about myself. So, as you guys know, I live here in Australia, and depending on the time that the game is played in Scotland, because of time zones, the game is usually played somewhere, for league matches, it's usually somewhere between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. Now, it's an okay time, because what it means is that I can watch the game, then I can go to bed afterwards, and then I can wake up in the morning and I can record these videos for you guys, these match reactions. And the reason I do it in that format and I don't do my reaction straight after the game is because not only do I need my sleep, but if I do reactions straight after the game, I'm usually gonna rave on about the positives, and I'm not actually gonna analyze the game or anything. But the main reason I do it after a good night's sleep is because of the bad results. Like last night. Normally I'm able to, have a sleep, and I'm able to look back at the games, and I'm able to analyze it properly, look at what went right for Celtic, look at what went wrong for Celtic. But I can't with this match. I wrote some, when I'm watching the games, I write some quick notes down just to what I should talk about in the video, stuff that I remember that I won't remember after the match when I wake up. And I've got those all in front of me right now, and honestly, nothing, not even a good night's sleep, will be able to help me to forget the pure frustration I felt during that match. It was like watching a bloody tennis match. I'll be real with you. That was one of the most frustrating games I've ever watched for Celtic. Literally, it was like a tennis match. The ball would go from one side, get switched to the other side, get switched to the other side, get switched to the other side. Oh, a cross goes in. Oh, wow. Stragic, or whatever his name is, has claimed it. 10 seconds later, goes from one side to the other side, to the other side. It was just on. It was like, the game is like a broken record. It was just on loop for 90 minutes. Well, we'll say for 88, 90 minutes, because we all know what happened at the end, and I'll get onto that later. But look, it was terrible. It was such a terrible game to watch. And not only was our football terrible, so was Livingston's. And they came to Celtic Park. They didn't want to win that match. They had no care at all for winning that match. They wanted to get a draw from that match or less. They put 11 players behind the ball at all times. They had 7 players in that box at all times. Sure, look, they got what they were looking for. Credit to them. They came to Celtic Park looking for a draw, and they got a draw, so fair play for that. But how can you say, as a footballing team, that you don't go out to win matches? How can you be a manager and not coach your team to win matches? It dishonors the one footballing philosophy we're all taught as a kid. And it isn't when you go on that pitch to have fun, because that's for 5-year-olds. When you go onto that pitch, you go onto that pitch to win matches. And they didn't play proper football. They played cowards football. And I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want to go on a tangent about it. That's my mini rant done. But Livingston, they've lost a lot of, I've lost a lot of respect for them as a footballing team. And look, now, I can't just sit here and say, it's all because of Livingston that Celtic drew that match. It's on Celtic, and it's on Ange more specifically, but it's also on a few other reasons. Now, the first thing, the day just didn't go right for Celtic at all. The lineup came out and it was completely wrong. Look, we know Livingston is going to be a defensive team. That is, you could bet your house, wife, money that Livingston were going to put majority of their players behind the ball. And that's what they did. And so what I'm saying is that why did we think it was such a great idea to play a 6'1" Greek Albion Yeti at striker? He's a poacher, he's 6'1". It doesn't take a genius to realize that crossing the ball will not work. It will not work when he's being marked by 3 central defenders, 2 of which were 6'3" and could easily shove him off the ball. And then you've also got the keeper, Stragic, who is very, very capable at coming out for crosses. Why did Ange think that it was a great idea to switch it from side to side for the whole game and then just put a cross in, hoping for the best? Like, it baffles me. It just baffles me why that was going to be the way to unlock Livingston, because I said in my match preview, and if you guys watched it, you'll know, I said, and I think a lot of people agreed on, the only way we're winning this match is that if we can unlock the Livingston defence and put gaps in between them. And the only way we could put gaps between them was through the middle of the park. And sure, that becomes a lot harder without Rogic, but you can make it an even harder task by benching arguably our best forward in Kyogo, and the player who makes things happen for Celtic with his movement. And honestly, it's so obvious to everyone, not even Kyogo's admission from the centre of the field, but literally, like, without Rogic, we're so, what's the word? The opposite of creative, uncreative in that midfield. Turnbull just doesn't have that flair, skill, creativeness that Rogic does. He's not a wizard. It's as simple as that. He's not a wizard, and he doesn't have that creativity to play Cam. And when you're pushing other players like McGregor forward and you have Baton controlling the play from CDM, Baton doesn't have that urgency or that drive to be able to make things happen from there. That's why Callum McGregor does so well there, because he's got the mindset of a centre mid or attacking player, but he's got the skills to play at CDM, and that's just why it works so well for Celtic, because then you have a player like Rogic who's able to create those gaps. And it's frustrating, because I'm going to do it. I have to do it. I have to talk about the penalty. And look, we always rave on about, the Rangers and how they get out of jail free cards when it comes to matches. Like, we talk about how soft that penalty was against Aberdeen, but then you go and you see that something like that happen. Yes, Kyogo milked it. Of course he milked it. He got hit in the head, for Christ's sake. But the fact of the matter is that when Rangers get their get out of jail free cards, they actually use them and use them to their advantage. What does Celtic do? We go and bloody waste it. We go and throw away an extra 2 points there. We throw away the top spot in the league. Because I'm so baffled why Giacomakis took that penalty. And I've got a lot of reasons as to why I'm baffled. And the first one I'm going to say, and actually no. We're going to stop for a second. Deep breath. And I know a lot of you are going to come out here into the comments and say, oh, look, why are you questioning why Giacomakis took it? Ange said he took responsibility. Ange said that Ange decided to put Giacomakis on it. But for me, I think that's just that manager backing his own player, which you have to do as a manager. You have to go out there and take the blame for the player, because at the end of the day, you can't be directing criticism to one of your own players. You have to be the leader, and that's what Ange did. But I don't buy it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't buy it. I honestly think, in my eyes, Giacomakis took that penalty off Juranovic. He stepped up to take it, and he told the team, it's my penalty. That's what I think he's done, and I think Ange is just trying to deflect the criticism off him. But I still don't see why Juranovic didn't take it off him, because look, the first thing and Juranovic has scored 2 pens this season. We all know that both pens were great penalties, and the second thing that is more baffling is why Giacomakis took the pen when he's barely been involved in the game. Now, the thing with this is, now let me explain, because we've seen very, very recently a lot of famous occasions where players have taken a penalty when they've not been ready to take a penalty. The Euros, Gareth Southgate brings on 3 players in the final, and what happens? Each 3 player misses their penalty, and Italy win the Euros. It happened in the Premier League literally a week ago or 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was a bit further back, but you guys will know what I'm talking about. Mark Noble gets brought on by David Moyes in the last minute to take a last-minute penalty against Man United. And what happens? He misses it. De Gea saves it. And the common factor between these two misses and Giacomakis is that the players haven't had a time to feel the ball, to understand the weight of the ball. And that's something that baffles me, because you look at a player like Juranovic, he's at left back, he understands the weight of the ball. He's made lots of passes in that match. He understands a feel for it. He understands how hard he's got to hit it. Whereas Giacomakis, I don't think he touched the ball with his feet. I think he tried that one overhead kick. He tried a couple headers, but I don't think he touched the ball with his feet. He didn't make any strong passes. He didn't understand the weight of the ball. And I don't get his penalty style either. I don't get the 2 run-up, because it was a shocker of a pen. And I honestly stand by how poor that penalty was, because we look at Juranovic's first penalty for Celtic. he stepped up and he took the penalty against Claudio Bravo against Real Betis. If you're unfamiliar with it, go back and watch it, and you'll see Claudio Bravo dives the correct way. But guess what? Juranovic still scores. Why? Because he took the keeper out of the equation. No matter which way the keeper went, Juranovic was always saving that because he put enough power on it that no reaction time would let a keeper save that. What does Giacomakis do? He decides to roll it along the floor. It was never troubling any keeper. The keeper could have waited in the middle to see which way the ball was going, and he still would have saved it. It was such a poor penalty, and it was just such a poor game for the Greek Albion Ajeti. Look, and I'm kind of like going on a bit too much about him. He missed a sitter at the end as well, an open net, and I'm just look to sum it all up. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to win back over the Celtic fan base. Like, I don't even think he's had that great of a start to life at Celtic. He's shown moments of physical. He scored a goal for Celtic, but I think Albion Ajeti could have done that as well. I don't see why Giacomakis hasn't shown enough to me to warrant me. Like, he's just not done enough yet. And that penalty call has just... it's just why he decided to take that off Juranovic, someone who's got a 100% record for Celtic. It's just baffling. But look, at the end of the day, you pick a side, you blast it. He didn't do that, and we paid the price for it. A lot of things didn't go away today. I think that penalty literally summed up the whole day for Celtic. I think there's not much more to talk about. Look, we've got Celtic. If you told me before this run of fixtures, before the end of the last international break, if a businessman came up to me and was like, look, I'm going to tell you straight up here. If Celtic win, then Celtic are allowed to win their next 4 matches. Celtic are going to win their next 4 matches, but on one condition: you have to draw against Livingston. I would take that hands down, because the form we were in, the fact that we have gotten out of our last 5 games in all competitions, we've gotten 13 points out of 15. It's really good for a team that was in shambles 2 months ago. And I think the next international break will be good for Celtic. We got Ferencvaros, we got Dundee coming up, and I think it would be really good. Like, I think I'm overreacting to the Livingston game. I think Livingston, they got what they wanted. They came out to get a draw. They frustrated Celtic, so they did what they had to do. And I think the international break is going to be good for Celtic, because we've got Rogic, who needs to heal up, and we saw how much of an impact Rogic makes to this team, and how dearly we missed him against Livingston. And I think we're going to miss him a lot against Ferencvaros and Dundee. But Rogic needs time to recover, and more importantly, however, we need Julian coming back up to speed, because the other thing I haven't talked about is Starfelt's injury. And from the looks of it, I'm honestly going to say, I think it's a torn hamstring. I don't think he's pulled it. I think it's a grade 3. I honestly, from the way he pulled up from it, instantly he knew. It reminded me of Harry Kane's in the Premier League, like just last year on New Year's Day. He instantly knew he pulled up, and I think we could be seeing him out for 3 to 4 months. So Julien has got a spot to return to, and I think we need him sooner rather than later, because especially after the international break, because I think Welsh can fill the void until then, but after that, it's up to Julien. And look, at the end of the day, I don't want to drag this on any further. I've barely spoken about the game. It was literally a 50-50 of talking bad about Livingston and talking about the penalty. But disappointing result. We move on to Ferencvaros later this week, and we put it behind us, because I think there's a lot to take out of this game. I think we can take out of the game that Celtic need to play Kyogo through the middle from now on, and I think Kyogo through the middle, I think it's a hands down must. If he's not injured, you have to play him. It's as simple as that. But that is all from me. So hopefully you guys put up with that. Hopefully you guys were able to put yourself in me reliving the awful moments of that game. But it is what it is. So until next time, hail, hail.